Alright, welcome back sa ating channel mga kapasib. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jeff and we talk about our personal journey into achieving financial independence and financial freedom. And nagbabaka sakali kami na makapag-retire ng maaga using this strategy, passive income investing. So for today's video guys, we're just gonna dive into our favorite tool. We have uh, two tools na ginagamit para ma-achieve para makapag-generate ng passive income. Unang-una yung rental income sa real estate. And pangalawa, itong aming passive income portfolio sa aming tax-free savings account. Okay? So yung tool na sinasabi ko guys, na nasa loob ng aming tax-free savings account is yung covered call ETFs. So, yun yung mga ETFs na meron kami inside our tax-free savings account. So, ano ba tong covered call ETFs? By the end of this video, hopefully, may matutunan kayo kung paano nagge-generate ng income ang covered call strategy or itong covered call ETFs na pinoprovide ng mga ETF providers. And then, this income na na-generate nila is, ito yung dividend na binibigay sa ating mga, katulad ko na investor. Yun yung dinidistribute nila doon sa mga investors nila sa kanilang mga ETF. So, hopefully guys, may matutunan nga kayo and didiscuss din natin ano ba yung possible, ano ba yung mga risk ng strategy na to. And if this strategy is something for you to consider. So, yun guys, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, kung bago ka lang na sisimula mag-invest, kung di mo pa natatry, and nandito ka sa Canada, you are allowed or legally allowed to open up a tax-free savings account or a non-registered account or an RRSP or an RESP. I suggest na mag-umpisa ka ng mag-invest. The earlier, the better. So guys, may iba-iba kasing klase ng ng investment strategy, right? Pagdating sa stock market, meron tinatawag na growth, right? Mayroong growth strategy, mayroong value, and mayroong dividend growth, right? Meron ding may nagde-day trading, may nagso-swing trading. So yun, so on and so forth. And yung strategy na ginagawa ko is like a buy and hold strategy ng mga covered call ETFs. Most of them are high yield dividend paying ETFs na nasa US yung kapit ko, yung holdings namin inside our tax-free savings account. Pero meron ding mga available sa Canadian stock market. And sa mga susunod na video siguro i-discuss natin or I'm gonna show you guys some of the available covered call ETFs that pays monthly dividends dito sa Canadian stock market, and I will also share with you guys yung mga US stock market, US available covered call ETFs na pwede kayong kung saan kayo pwedeng mag-invest. Disclaimer lang guys, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional. This is just for entertainment purposes only. So, kung magsisimula ka mag-invest, do your own due diligence. Or kung hindi ka sigurado, seek a professional advice from a financial advisor. Itong sinishare ko dito sa aking channel is just like my personal journey, guys. So, and my personal strategy. So, it doesn't mean ito yung the best strategy for you guys kasi iba-iba tayo ng goal, iba-iba tayo ng risk tolerance, iba-iba tayo ng, way of investing, right? And do your own due diligence and huwag kayo basta-basta mag-i-invest sa bagay na hindi nyo fully naiintindihan. Okay? Uh, I will admit, kasi yung strategy na to na ginagawa namin is kumbaga basic. Siguro basic pa lang din naman yung alam namin. Hindi ko pa, kumbaga hindi pa masyadong malalim yung aking knowledge when it comes to this strategy, but I see to it na pagka merong hindi malinaw sa akin, I see to it na inaaral ko siya, and yun nga, I do my own research then. I listen to people who's been ahead of me doing this strategy, and I read articles, I follow the stock market, and yun lang. So yun guys, unang-una i-dissect muna natin covered call or yung call option. Ano ba yung call option? Na-try ko na to personally, pero hindi yung covered call option. I'm using Wealthsimple. Kung nandito ko sa Canada, available tong trading app na to, Wealthsimple. You just have to download it. Then if you wanted to open your account, pwede ka mag-open ng account mo doon, either tax-free savings account nga, non-registered cash account, or RRSP. So for me, inuuna kong kumbaga i-maximize muna yung tax-free savings account namin. That's just my personal preference. It doesn't have to be kumbaga hindi nyo naman kailangan gayahin. It's just like para sa akin, inuuna ko muna yung account na meron kaming tax advantage, right? Kasi tax-free nga siya. So, covered call or call option. Ang call option is, it's like a contract between a buyer and a seller sa stock market. Okay? Or sa any financial instrument. Could be commodities, could be foreign exchange. Parang ganon. So, ang call option is a contract between a buyer and a seller. So, ang isang option contract, guys, consists of 100 shares of a particular stock. Let's say, stock A. Yan. So, ako, bibili ako ng call option. Long call option. So, ibig sabihin, yung stock A na yon, say ang kanyang current stock price is 100. So, bibili ako ng isang contract, which is 100 shares. Yung contract na yun, babayaran ko siya dun sa seller. So, yung tawag doon sa bayad ko na yun yung premium. Yung premium na yun, mare-receive nung seller. So, now I have the right to buy that 100 shares of stock A within a certain period of time and a strike price. Say 100 yung current price, and I am hoping na tumaas yung stock price niya to 110 or beyond within 1 month. Yung 110 na yun yung aking strike price. Yung 1 month na period from the time that I bought the contract is yun yung expiration date niya. So, within that 1 month, pagka hindi nagtumaas yung stock price na binili ko, hindi niya na-hit yung strike price within the month, yung contract na yon ma-expire. So, ako bilang bumili ng contract, yung premium na pinambili ko dun sa contract na yun, mawala na. Kumbaga, 100% loss na yun. Unless, ibenta ko siya ng, let's say, pababa yung presyo. So, ibig sabihin, yung premium ko, bagsak din. Or yung pera pinambayad ko doon sa contract, babagsak din. Okay. So, pero pagka naman na-hit yung strike price within 1 month, say the first week, na-reach niya yung strike price na 110, it goes beyond that, like 115. Ako, bilang buyer nung option na yun, I have the option to sell that call option. So, kasi nag-appreciate na yung price nung binili kong contract, right? So ganun guys, ganun yung call option. Merong long call option, merong short call option. Pero dun lang ako sa personally I just did a long call option sa Wealthsimple. Yun lang yung na-try ko. So, yun. So ano naman yung kaibahan niya sa covered call? Yung covered call, let's say ako um may-ari ako ng 100 shares of Tesla stock. Ang current price niya is $400 per share. So, ang gagawin ko, magra-write ako or magte-trade ako ng uh, sell covered call. Okay? So, parang ibebenta ko yung rights para do sa 100 shares ko ng Tesla. And I'm gonna get a premium. So, yung premium, kita ko na yun. Now, let's say ang strike price is 450 within, let's say, 1 month ulit. So, kapag hindi na reach yung 1 month, hindi na hit yung strike price within the month, makikip ko yung aking 100 shares bilang may-ari ng shares plus the premium. So, yun, kita ko na yun. Siyempre, let's say, nag-appreciate ng konti. Let's say, from 400, naging 440 within, let's say, 4 months. Since hindi na-hit yung strike price, guys, makikip ko pa rin yung aking Tesla shares plus the premium. So, yun, guys. So, parang ganun yung covered call. And, imaginein mo, yung mga financial institution or yung mga ETF providers na kung saan kami nag-i-invest. So, parang ganun yung ginagawa nila doon sa covered call. Pero in a scale, so mas malaki. Hindi lang isang contract yan. Sometimes they have like hundreds of contracts on a particular stock. Magra-write sila ng covered call. And then sometimes may leverage pa yan. Merong say 50% leverage or 33% leverage on that particular ETF. So may mga ganun-ganun pa. So pero ang ano nun, ang bottom line nun guys is kumikita yung mga ETF providers dun sa kanilang mga ETF with underlying assets. It could be single stock. It could be a basket of ETFs. It could be a basket of tech stocks. It could be utility stocks. So, kumikita sila doon through price appreciation and premium na na-generate sa pagra-write ng covered call. So, doon sila kumikita and yung kinikita nila na yun yung pera na i-distribute sa ating mga investors do sa any particular covered call ETFs. So ganun guys, ganun basically ganun yung structure or yung way kung paano siya ka-generate ng income and then yung income na yun dinidistribute sa ating mga investors. So yun guys. So ano ba yung risk? Ano ba yung risk ng strategy na to? Based sa aking research, isa sa mga risk is, syempre, any stocks or any ETFs with an underlying stock that underperforms the market, syempre, bababa din yung presyo ng ETF na yon. Babagsak din yun. And yung dividend na payout na dinidistribute nila, let's say, for every week or every month, is dependent pa rin dun sa underlying asset. Let's say, ang underlying asset ng isang particular ETF is S&P 500. Take for example, yung USCL ng Hamilton. pag bumaba ang S&P 500, right? Babagsak din yung yung value or yung net asset value ng o yung tinatawag na NAV ng ETF na yon ng USCL, right? Pero nakaka-generate pa rin siya ng income through writing covered calls. So kahit na bumagsak yung yung stock price niya, meron pa rin siyang maidi-distribute na dividend sa mga investors. For sure mas bababa din yung distribution. On the flip side, pagka maganda yung performance ng market or ng underlying asset, tataas yung stock price ng ETF, right? Tataas yun. And plus nun yung mga premium na na-generate nila in writing those covered calls. So ganun guys. And since covered call siya and merong strike price, right? Say, for example, current price 100 and then strike price 105. Pag-write sila ng covered call like for a certain ETF, right? Or a stock. So, let's say nag-surge ang market or yung stock price ng underlying asset. Say, yung 105 na reach niya yung strike price na yon, makakap yung appreciation ng stock price or ng ETF doon sa from 100 to 105. Yun lang yung gain na makukuha mo in terms of appreciation kasi yun yung strike price, right? And if it went beyond 105, let's say it went up more up to $110 per share or $120 per share, hindi na makakapture ng ETF or ng underlying asset yung yung appreciation na yon kasi nga capped yung merong na hit na yung strike price. So but you still get the premium, right? So yun yung isa sa risk. Pero like I said, merong mga covered call ETFs na pag tiningnan mo sa i-compare mo siya sa let's say S&P 500 or Nasdaq 100, yung performance niya is at par with the index. Say the SPY or triple Q or the Nasdaq. Sometimes pantay siya yung total return niya or sometimes mas mataas pa since inception nung particular ETF. So ang ko dyan is ako bilang investor or kung kayo ay nag-iisip na mag-invest is aralin nyo kung ano yung mga underlying asset na tingin nyo is will perform well over the long term or in the long run. And it doesn't mean na since buy and hold strategy siya, it doesn't mean hindi mo ibebenta yung say ETF na hawak mo. Kung underperforming naman siya, of course you have the option to switch it to something else, right? And yun yung kagandahan. Pero primarily guys, you are buying these ETFs not for the price appreciation itself, right? Nung value ng share ng particular ETF. You are buying this ETF because you want this ETF to provide you a consistent cash flow every month or every week. The distribution might vary kasi nga it depends on the performance of the underlying asset or ng stock market. But you get that consistent income na mare-receive mo through dividends. So it's up to you kung anong gusto mong gawin dun sa dividends na yon. If you wanted to use it for for daily expenses pag na-receive mo siya. Yeah, or you just want to take part some of it and then reinvest yung natira. Ako, since hindi ko pa naman siya kailangan, hindi pa namin siya kailangan sa ngayon, ang naisip ko is para mas mapabilis yung paglago ng portfolio, on top of our contribution every 2 weeks, excuse me, yung dividend na nare-receive namin is nire-reinvest namin back into the portfolio. Okay? So that way, mas lalaki yung value ng portfolio and dadami yung shares namin on whatever like ETF that we have. And that means more distribution. So palaki ng palaki, nag-i-snowball yung aming income every month or every year. Kasi yung ganun ng pero sometimes nga hindi pare-pareho ng distribution. Sometimes bumababa din. So, pero ang general trend personally sa amin is palaki ng palaki income namin na nare-receive. Kasi nga sabi ko sa inyo, nagsimula kami 2 years ago siguro 'yon. Ang nare-receive lang namin na income noon is around $200 Canadian per month. Malaking bagay na yun kasi that $200, pwede ko siyang gamitin pambayad ng bills, right? So, and I'm not doing anything. It's just like, nag-i-invest lang ako. I don't have to work part-time job to earn that money, right? So, yun yung nakikita kong advantage niya. And, yan. Kaya gustong-gusto ko tong strategy na to personally. Kasi, for me, it works para sa aming goal na magkaroon ng extra cash flow besides doon sa aming rental income and doon sa aming regular na trabaho, right? Kasi nga, pwede naman akong pwede naman kami mag part-time job or di ba, side hustle. Pero kumaga sa amin, hindi yun yung hindi yun yung akma para dun sa gusto namin. Gusto ko nga namin kasi may time kami para sa sarili namin, may time kami para sa mga anak namin. So, nung na-discover ko tong strategy na to, nag-focus na ako dito. And yeah, meron pa rin ako mga single stocks. I do swing trade here and there. Pero ang main focus namin is to build this a cash flow investment portfolio. Ulitin ko lang kasi lagi ko na nababanggit to sa mga previous videos ko. Ang goal namin is yung matapatan namin or meron kaming specific number in mind, amount of monthly cash flow na gusto naming ma-hit para sa tingin namin, pag na-hit namin yung number na yun is magkakaroon na kami ng option to retire or, take some time off and, pursue our passion, travel maybe. So, yun. Meron kaming particular na number na gusto ma-hit and yun nga, pagka na-hit namin yun, plus the buffer, lagi ko sinasabi, importante itong buffer na to kasi in case of emergency na mag-crash ang market, mahati sa bumagsak ng 50% yung nare-receive namin na dividend. Kumbaga, hindi kami masyadong apektado, right? Kumbaga, hindi kami masyadong kakabahan. And, yun, for example, ang aming target na cash flow per month is $10,000 Canadian for our monthly expenses. So, hindi kami dapat tumigil lang doon sa 10,000. We have to, ma-build pa yung aming cash flow, say, up to 15,000 to 20,000 if ever. para lang talagang kahit di kami mag-contribute back into the portfolio with the money out from our own pocket, kumbaga i-reinvest lang namin lahat ng dividends na nare-receive namin, is magko-continue pa rin lumago yung portfolio. So yun yung nakikita kong advantage niya. And yun guys, sana may mapulot kayo dito, and just wanted to share our personal journey talaga. And kumbaga itong channel na to, kumbaga ito yung babalikan ko kapag say hopefully ma-achieve namin yung aming goal. And dito namin kumbaga babalikan lahat hopefully kapag na-achieve namin. And sana may matutunan yung mga viewers natin, and I really do appreciate you guys for watching. Kahit na kokonti lang tayo, if you have the same goal na makapag-generate ng extra income, this might work for you, pero I'm not saying this is the best strategy. Ang sabi nila is, ang pinaka pa rin is mag-invest ka sa total stock market, mga low cost index fund, or katulad ng or ETF katulad ng VFV, VOO, VGRO, those kinds of ETF. Basta yung importante dito yung diversification din. Kailangan yun, like all the investors say, you never put all your eggs in one basket. Kasi you'll never know pagka nagbumagsak ang market, tapos or yung isang stock na hawak mo, wala ka, lupot ka, di ba? So kami, mostly index based yung aming covered call ETFs na hawak. Pero meron din akong mga single stocks na covered call ETFs. Actually, 4 yon. And kaya naman nag-take ako ng risk doon sa mga yon is because naniniwala ako doon sa mga company na yun. That way that they will generate consistent income, or they can generate they can grow as a company, and they really have a huge potential to grow more. And like I said, kapag nakikita ko na hindi nagwo-work, or itong underlying asset na hawak namin sa aming mga covered call ETF is not doing well, we always have the option to sell it and then look for or invest in another covered call ETF that we see fit on our portfolio. So yun yung kagandahan nito, kasi kumbaga minimal effort lang. Talagang requirement lang, like I said on my previous video, is yung mag-save ka, live below your means or within your means, or live below your means talaga hanggat maaari. Saving, investing. So yun lang, live below your means, save and invest. And yun lang yung walang hocus pocus, walang kumbaga walang special step or special na gagawin. Yun lang. Kumbaga common sense lang ang ang puhunan mo dito. And you can start with a very small amount. Kung talagang hindi pa kaya mag-invest ng malaki, start small. It doesn't have to be this strategy. Ang mapapayo ko lang is, habang bata pa, hanggat maaga, makapagtabi kayo, and yung tinatabi nyo, hanggat maaari, i-invest nyo para yung pera nyo nag-grow pa rin no matter what. And and just be consistent on investing. Yun lang. Maraming salamat guys sa panonood. I appreciate your time. Ang haba pala itong video na to. 30 minutes. Pero yun lang. Thank you uli and see you on the next one, guys.